Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, React and Chill with me, Dika. So I'm about to jump into the next episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So last time on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there was a lot of stuff that happened. I think starting from the top, we finally got a chance to see who was the new man behind the mask, John Walker. I do have my slight suspicions about him. Obviously, he's at the same time trying to reach out to both Sam and Bucky, who are incredibly hostile towards him, and obviously for good reason. So Sam got word of what they call the flag smashers, and both him and Bucky had teamed up to sort of go infiltrate them, and unfortunately got their ass handed to them, but they did come to realize that they were all the group that they faced, which confirmed what Taurus had to face, is that they're all super soldiers. So now it was a case of where were they getting the serum. You know, the only two, as Bucky's knowledge, was himself and Steve, because they obviously had the serum, which led us to meet Isaiah, who was a black super soldier many decades ago. Unfortunately, this is, again, and I've mentioned this is one of the things which I really love about the Captain America movies, how they deal with real life issues. And I don't think I'd mentioned it properly, but the sort of the racial tension and the politics going on here, which is true. There was a black super soldier who was created by the government to go get Bucky, but unfortunately was not given the same treatment as, say, the likes of Steve or even Bucky as he's going through his rehabilitation. And Sam called him out on that. We found out the leader, Carly, who is leading the flag smashers, or this particular group, but I feel like she's also on the run from somebody because she was getting those text messages. So I'm curious as to see where that's going to lead to, and if there was some internal struggle even on her section. We get a bit more of an idea of what they're about. They're going back to meet with Zemo to see if he's got any information about the super serum, speak to him to see if he may have any clues or possibilities as where they're getting the serum from. And finally, the final thing I forgot to mention was how we had a bit of a breakthrough in Bucky's therapy sessions, where I forgot her name, but his therapist had asked, why does Sam aggravate you? And it was with the fact that, yes, he did give away the shield. Like we had mentioned before, that shield represented Steve, and Steve gave it to Sam, almost like a passing on the mantle. But then he said that, if Steve was wrong about Sam, then he was wrong about me. And I put this back to what happened in Winter Soldier, but actually I forgot to mention it was the whole issue, what had happened in Civil War, how Steve had Bucky's back. He was like, Bucky's changed, he's not the killing machine he was. And that links really nicely back to how we're seeing Bucky trying to move on. So he feels like, Steve was wrong about me, then I can never change, I can never be a good person. So that was actually really touching, but it's a horrible dynamic to live with, but that was really good. So I think I've covered all of the main things. We're going to see where this takes us now, as both Sam and Bucky are approaching, or they're going to be speaking to Zemo because he knows all the secrets. And without further ado, let's jump into episode 3, Power Broker. So that was episode 3, Power Broker. Of course they're after Zemo. They are literally after his head. So that was an epic way to finish that episode. And again, another really good episode. Such a good episode. First and foremost, I love the new dynamic of having Baron, Rich Boy Zemo join the party of now Sam and Bucky. They were able to track down some information all the way down to Madripoor. I made sure I wrote this down because otherwise I was going to forget. And trying to get a bit more understanding of where the super serum is being created. So Zemo definitely came in with the info, and they were flying around in his private jet, epic. So they were able to track it down back there. That woman Selby unfortunately got killed, and I'm assuming it must have been Sharon in the club at the time that would have shot her before they got killed, and hiding out and holding up in. We found out that the super serum, the serum was created from a blood sample that the CIA had of Isaiah, which is this goes back to what happened. They were taking blood samples of him, obviously, when Hydra went under. So that's shit. So Wilfred Nagel was the scientist behind it, who was the one who was getting that blood sample. Again, shit. So Zemo literally did not wait to put the bullet. I didn't want him to kill him because, you know, that was vital information, but Zemo did come back and save the gang, and obviously he has to do it in style. He hated Hydra and what the serums and stuff stood for, just as he can't stand the Avengers. I guess it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of situation with them, which is fun. We see that Captain America, John Walker, and Lamar are on their case. They were able to track. They were trying to get leads, and obviously they're turning up with nothing. They're picking up the pieces, so they're on their trail as well, and they're saying, you know, if they have to do certain things off book, it doesn't matter as long as they get the job done. And now obviously to add it into the mix, you've got the powers of Wakanda, who obviously have heard of Zemo escaping, and now they're on his tail as well. So that would be really interesting to see how Bucky could ward them off, because like I mentioned, they are after his head. But no, that was such a good episode. I really enjoyed that episode. And we also had the fact that Sam has to now look after two psychopaths. You had Bucky and you had Zemo, you know, him having to look after, and it doesn't stop them quarreling. And obviously that's not the end of Sharon. We'll hopefully see her again. I forgot to mention this last time, but obviously their plan now is to get that shield back off John Walker, and I'm glad that they got to that resolve. So I can't wait until they do get that shield back, because it does belong to both Bucky, and I personally think it belongs to them, because if Steve was still around today in the show, I don't think he would have stood for what the government were trying to do, and at the same time his role as Captain America was there for good. He definitely would have not stood for what the Flag Smashers are doing. So definitely, I've got a feeling it would have meant something completely different. But no, I think that wraps it up. That was another fantastic episode. But that was it for this week. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.